Hello everybody, good to have you on board. Today's episode is all about strength and conditioning, which, as you might know, I'm quite passionate about.
Yeah, you hardly talk about it actually, and me not so much. My kids take the mickey out of me for never doing arm day.
And that's just one excuse. I'm not sure there's enough time to quite get through Andy's long list of excuses of why he doesn't go to the gym each week.
No, I just don't want to embarrass everybody by lifting massive heavy weights.
I've seen some gains recently on those guns.
On these guns?
Yeah.
Well, no one else has ever described them as my
Gains.
guns.
I think the only gains that's going on around here is on the mixing desk.
Oh, wow. A niche audio reference. I like that.
Now, joking aside, it is probably one part of running that does tend to go by the wayside. And today, by popular demand, we've got Anna Harding, running channel presenter. And probably something a lot of people don't know about Anna is that she's also a qualified PT. Did you two know that?
Yeah, and she's currently training for Chicago Marathon. So perfect person to ask, how do you fit it all in?
Oh, I used an acronym.
What acronym?
Personal
PT?
trainer, sorry.
So disappointed in yourself. Also, a massive thank you to Wahoo and their Kicker Run treadmill for sponsoring this episode. Very excitingly, we're going to hear from two of their athletes, Hendrik and Esther Pfeiffer. Hendrik fresh off the back of a really high position in the pro field at Berlin Marathon. And also, he's running a race that I'm running late this year. So we're going to find out all about that.
Ooh, let's dive in.
Andy did that interview, so let's see how that worked out, Sarah.
Did you ask them sock, shoe?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, how did that go?
Well, one of them, I went with a real which has a controversial answer.
Oh, well, stay tuned for that later on.
There's only two answers really, isn't there?
Well, who was the American athlete that you interviewed in Tokyo last week? Who had the controversial...
Brooks.
Yeah. Who came...
Talia Brooks.
Talia Brooks, who got the bronze in the heptathlon. Yeah.
Also a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so we're giving the game away. One of the lovely Pfeiffer family is a psychopath.
Well, always good to know.
Normally on a Monday morning, I've got sometimes, just to be completely honest with you two, I have very occasionally, a little bit of a fuzzy head from an enjoyable Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
But I've realised
on a Monday, it's not. I'll let people behind the curtain. It's not restricted to just a Monday.
No matter what day we're recording the podcast.
But I've realised that my slightly fuzzy head on a Monday morning is actually nothing to do with white wine. It's because I've got a 2-year-old. Because I didn't drink this weekend.
Oh,
and you've still got a fuzzy head.
And I've still got a fuzzy head.
I did see a lovely picture though of you finally found a TV programme that you can watch with the whole family.
Yeah, we watched Frozen Planet.
Nice.
We're going back through some of the David Attenborough ones. So.
And your littlest, who's only 2, will he sit through that?
That was the first time we all watched a programme together ever as a family.
Wow.
Yesterday.
I've got a similar parenting story for my multiple children. We sat down and watched what I will say is perfectly pitched for the age of my children. National Treasure. I wouldn't say it was a Hollywood classic, but Nicolas Cage, everything that you want for kids, it's kind of Indiana Jones crossed with the Da Vinci Code, but there's no raunchiness, there's no bad language, there's
National
no real
Treasure.
Violence. Yeah.
I'm really into this. I know this is a running show.
Yeah.
But I'm really into us sharing decent films because I gave you a couple on the flight.
I wouldn't put it up there as decent in the sense of
Yeah.
it's not like cinematically wonderful, nor is the storyline great, but the kids were completely wrapped with it. Apart from our youngest, who is he's about to turn 5, to the point where after 20 minutes of him just doing cartwheels through or handstand, whatever he was doing, forwards rolls through the living room whilst we're trying to watch it, we gave him his iPad and he sat with us, but he had his headphones on watching something different on his iPad.
At least you were together.
Yeah, well,
you
say that. About an hour in to the film, I look up and he's nowhere to be seen. And my lovely wife's gone out for a run and left the front door on the latch so that she can get back in again.
Oh, no.
And I had the other two running around the house, shouting for him, looking in cupboards, all of the favourite places that he likes to hide. We were looking for a good 5-10 minutes
I'd be
thinking,
panicking.
I've got to run outside here. He might have just run out into the street. And then we go back into the living room where we'd been sat the entire time, and he was basically just sat down behind the sofa for the entire time. And we lift one of his little headphones off his ear and did you hear us shouting? And he just looks up very innocently. No. So that was a very wholesome little family story. And actually I got most of my exercise running up and down the stairs 15 times.
Yeah, I can imagine how calm and collected you would have been in that situation.
Well, I started very calm. I was like, he'll turn up in a minute. And then once I had enlisted the other two and they'd been crawling under the bed and climbing up and he wasn't in the laundry basket or in the wardrobe.
Do you know what Sarah said to me when she came in today?
I don't know.
She said, I've really prepared for this episode.
Uh-oh.
Right. So
Okay, hit us. Let's go.
So to let you behind the curtain, last week's episode we recorded on a Thursday, and then we're recording this week's episode on a Monday. So we've only had 3 days to prepare enough material to talk about. I had an absolute corker of a weekend in running wise. So I went up to the Lake District to watch one of my friends get married, which was incredible. Even more incredible because she is also a runner and her now husband is also a runner. They got married at this beautiful venue, like literally just down from a Wainwright. And we arrive at the venue. It's going to be a wedding outside.
I love that you described I mean, everywhere in the Lake District is literally just down from a Wainwright.
No, walkable in a wedding outfit to a Wainwright, which I'll come on to in a sec. So we sit down for the ceremony. I'm with Tom, and I like lean over to him just like before it starts. And I'm like, oh look, there's a runner there in the distance because we've got like a valley behind us. And then I'm like, oh look, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. And on the wedding started at 11, but that morning, one of our good friends, Callum, was starting the 5 Valleys Ultra.
That's
and
really early.
That weekend,
11 a.m.
Yeah, that is a very early wedding start. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad
It was
idea.
a full day.
Yeah, it's a full day.
But you'll see why. It wasn't like a full, it was a jam-packed activity. So we started our day even earlier because Callum's Ultra started at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is actually perfect. So we drove, it was like 15 minutes away from where our hotel was, drove down, watched him set off on his 58-kilometre ultra marathon, drove back to the hotel, got into all of our wedding stuff, went and sat down thinking like, oh, we'll just track him for the rest of the day. We won't see anything else of this race. So there's lots of different ultramarathon races going on that weekend. You've got 2 valleys, 5 valleys, 7 valleys, 13. We were literally staring at the 13 valleys course. So the whole way through the wedding, there were just these 100-miler athletes just like running in the background.
Were you shouting?
How
Were you shouting
perfect.
while stood next to your very close friends who were getting married? Were you shouting at the runners? It's not about you today.
Yeah, no one cares.
Did they do that on purpose? Were they runners?
Yeah, so they
Right.
both absolutely love running. They've run like Manchester Marathon. Their first marathon actually was Windermere Marathon. So like they love an
You
ultra.
do a lap of the lake, right?
Yeah,
I think.
I think it's called the lap.
It was just one lap. Is the lake that big?
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's big. And between Alice and Thomas, the couple, they have done all of the Wainwrights, like in their time together,
So should
and
we
now they're
quickly,
trying to.
very quickly, Wainwright is
yeah.
a famous Lake District kind of, I don't know whether you'd call him explorer, writer, author. He's just, there is a series of Wainwright's walks that are documented in his absolutely beautiful books. And every single walk has a hand sketch of the little landmarks that you'll see on the way. And so they're really easy to follow and they have really detailed descriptions. And it also is really nice because very little's changed over the last, 50, 60, 100 years,
Yeah.
whenever it was he wrote them and drew them in that kind of countryside.
But
So-
there's hundreds of them, and so like they've completed all of those, and then there's a similar thing in Scotland where it's all the Munros, like all the little peaks that you can go and back, which they're currently working their way through now. And on their table spread at the wedding, each table name was basically a different Wainwright and a little story about like what had happened on that Wainwright that they'd gone to.
Was it before or after you saw the different pictures of the Wainwrights that you got sold the wedding material for your own wedding?
Honestly, so me and Tom are currently planning our wedding, and it really just turns into a day of market research to the point where the mother of the groom, when we were asking about the table decorations, like quite late on into the day where everyone had a bit to drink, it just essentially was just auctioning off whatever was in the room to us. She was like, so this, we did that, do you want it? I'm sure they'll be selling it. And I was like, no,
I've got images of walking into your front room and there's a sign, Gary and Trisha's wedding.
Yeah, and we were like, yeah, we'll paint over it, it'll be fine.
I think if Rick and I ever end up getting, because there's plenty of time for us to get cancelled from your guest list.
Yeah.
That's an assumption that you're already on the guest list.
Well, I thought we were.
I think we've had this conversation, Sarah.
Right,
I think you
fine.
told us we'd made the cut. At least
Is
That was before I found out.
it as well?
Well,
that's before you found out how expensive it is
Where
to have
do you
kids.
cut off,
really
actually? Where do you cut off actually with work? That's a tricky question.
The point where
so
you cut-
everyone in this room's invited, but how far do you go outside the room? Hope nobody in the office listens
And I think
to this.
Sarah's about to say it really makes you evaluate whether one of your friends is worth £100.
£76 a head on food.
Yeah.
Like if we went out for dinner, would I spend £76 on your meal? No. But suddenly, because I'm getting married, please let me buy you a 3-course meal.
Well, we can come and assess whether or not all of the paraphernalia we see on our table is second-hand or not.
I tell you what, your meal might be second-hand at this rate. But the best part...
Why does this table present say Gary and Trisha?
Yeah.
But the best part of this wedding, which I would love to incorporate into my own, is that we went on a walk halfway through.
Right.
So they got married, did the ceremony, then every single person had to get boots on, including the bride and
I
groom.
assume you'd been told in advance that this would happen.
We were told in advance. So that made it even better, because then I was just looking around it and evaluating everyone's outfit choices based on the fact that they knew they were having to go for a walk.
Yeah.
So like there was puffer jackets, there was like outfits that were coordinated with wellies.
Did it look like you were all going out on a shoot?
Yeah, there was one guy who was in a full like tweed suit with like proper shoot boots.
Wow.
Tom.
It was insane. No, Tom went for like little boots, a tweed jacket, black trousers, and a wax jacket as well.
And you
Very
went
smart.
full evening dress and boots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And like camel coat.
Did you
which
do
had to
any
hitch
running up there at all?
Yeah, so I did a lap of, it's called Derwent Water.
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. And yet the whole way round is 15 kilometres. And it was really, and do you know what is underrated to run on? A boardwalk. You know, like when you get bits of wood going over water.
I did a lap of Derwent Water when I was up there training for my marathon.
So good.
There's a beautiful, it's beautiful. Everything in the lake is beautiful, but that's actually relatively flat.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tom needed because he's training for his ultra, Tom needed like a hilly-ish. And I looked at it and I was like, well, that's as hilly as you're going to get without going like into the hills.
Yeah.
And so it was a bit undulating, but yeah, not too bad.
Hills are also excellent strength and conditioning because they sort of force you to use muscles in a different way that you'd use generally just running on the flat, and getting stuck into a hill, driving your arms. I mean, I'm not saying you do that for 15 kilometers, but actually hills are a bit of, I don't know.
It's free
sneaky
strength training.
strength
And that
training.
is the extent of its strength training, which I did last week. So I'm going to be listening very intently to this next bit where Anna tells us how we should actually strength train. So I'll duck out. Welcome,
right.
Anna.
Anna, I'm so pleased you're here because I feel like you're going to be on my side with strength and conditioning.
Is there a side?
I don't know. Are you saying I'm not on your side?
I wouldn't say you're as far on my side as I'm on my side compared to Sarah as well.
Sarah, I think, would be on board with strength and conditioning if she could be bothered to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the side. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Well, how much do you do?
2 gym sessions a week.
Oh, right, okay. All right, I stand corrected.
And then I had to do 3 during my career, and they were a lot more involved at that point because I was trying, now they're like trying to stop me from falling apart, which is slightly different. Whereas then they were trying to make me more powerful and more explosive and
Yeah.
have a better ground contact time and all this sort of stuff.
I think people are probably in general, when you speak to them at just park run or races, or you meet them at marathons, people seem to be getting more on board, don't you think, with S&C nowadays?
What's S&C?
Strength and conditioning.
Just checking. Rick gets very cross with himself if he uses an acronym and forgets
I called you a PT before at the beginning.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what does that stand for?
Personal trainer.
Or if you're in America, physical therapist.
Yeah.
Really?
Hello, people across the pond. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is like a physio for us.
Oh, okay. Are people
Anyway.
getting better though, do you think?
Are people getting better? I mean, you introed that with when you speak to people at parkrun, you think that people are getting more into it. Do you think that's because you are quite
You just say vocal.
Vociferous.
vocal, regimented about your S&C that you will tell everybody who will listen, you must do it?
This is the thing with Rick. It's like, how do you know someone's run a marathon? Because they'll tell you about it. It's like, how do you know you've had serious knee surgery? Because he just bangs on about it for the entire duration of the podcast.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose if you look at the running boom that happened during COVID, so you couldn't do any tennis if you normally did tennis, if you normally played group sports, rugby, football, you couldn't do it. So running took off, went mad.
Yeah.
All the brands obviously got on board. Massive, bigger interest in athletics now compared to 5 years ago. And you're like, well, with that comes more people having more injuries. So more work for physiotherapists, PTs, no matter where you are. And then there comes some education with greater numbers. Therefore, I would say more people are conscious of doing their strength work. Decent argument?
Who are you and what have you done with Rick Kelsey? I was relatively coherent.
Am I having a good effect on you today?
Placebo.
I do. So I'm as he was talking then, I was like, oh, hello, we've got Radio Rick. Because you've had to pull him up to, so I have no broadcast training at all. And I think I'm generally pulling the podcast down to my level. Whereas you've come into the studio as a very qualified broadcast journalist in the same way as Rick is. And the two of you are just going to leave me in the dust.
We're just in radio mode now.
Yeah.
Until we ask you about rubs and creams.
Oh, we've
and
got a
if they
question
work.
on that later.
Yeah.
That's not as strange a question as it might sound in this context.
So yeah, with strength and conditioning, do I think people are doing it more? Possibly. I have absolutely nothing to back that up, so I'm not going to be as bold as you in stating that as fact.
People are talking about it more.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. And also, with that, trips to the physiotherapist end up in them giving you exercises to do, right?
Yeah.
And actually, as runners, a lot of the exercises that we get from being injured tend to be the ones that are good for us to avoid getting injured.
Yeah, the interesting thing with physio experience is my physio experience has massively changed over the years, because I had that period as a pro athlete where you could broadly go to a physio to fix you, in inverted commas.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of really aggressive hands-on treatment, which is incredibly painful, but can kind of get you back on track more quickly. But you can't, it doesn't work unless you have it every few days.
No.
But then as a normal athlete now, and as an athlete that lost access to lottery funding and all that sort of stuff, I had to learn that it's a slower burn, but the strength and conditioning replaces that manual therapy, because it means that you're actually more robust. You don't need all of the manipulations and stuff, because by weirdly, everyone talks about stretching and all that sort of stuff, but often strength and conditioning kind of tightens everything up a little bit, which means you have more control at all of your joints and you're much less likely to get those kind of overuse injuries.
I think that's the first thing that you can do that will help you with whatever kind of exercise that you do. So if you see your physiotherapy because you've had an injury as something that fixes you, and then all of a sudden you're fixed and you're like, right, okay, I've been doing these exercises 3 times a week, half an hour a day. I've been going to the physio once a week. I've had a block of 5 or 10 with my physio. I'm back to where I was before. That is then the point where you should go, right, let's change my life. So let's now build this into your routine and make it a recurring routine every single week. And I think that is probably where the vast majority of people who I know have gone wrong. I've got a really good friend of mine called Rob, and he had major knee issues and went to see lots of people and basically said, he needs surgery to fix X, Y, Z. And he just put a real lot of work into S&C and building up the muscles around his knees. And now he's absolutely fine. He doesn't need any of that. And I'm not saying this is going to work for everyone, but creating that strength and conditioning into your weekly routine, it's possible to completely change the balance of your muscles.
Yeah, I want to ask Anna some questions specifically about the work that you do with the people that you work with and so on. But my last point on what we've just been talking about would be, it was an eye-opener to me to effectively put the accountability back on me. So ironically, as a pro athlete where you want to be in charge of your own destiny, I was kind of handing off the accountability to someone else, say, will you just keep me healthy? I'll show up and do what you tell me to do in the gym. I'll do all of this sort of stuff. But I'm still fairly reliant on fairly regular treatment. But then that was whipped away, and I saw a much more brutal physio who was just like, we're just not strong enough. Do this thing for 3 months, then come back and see me. And I was like, but my knee really hurts. He's like, yeah, but it won't hurt if you do this stuff for 3 months.
Yeah.
And
it is the long game as well. That is the thing to say as well. Like you said, Rick, it's the consistency, and it's the side of things that people do want a quick fix all the time. But the other side of it is, again, as what you were saying, Rick, it's that prehab. So it's before needing the rehab, it's doing the work to make sure that you don't need that treatment side of it.
So if the thing we can't do today is fix everyone's individual problems. No. But what would your go-to be? Like if you start working with a runner who doesn't really do strength and conditioning, and you're like, right, okay, I'm going to design something for you to do for these first few weeks, and then we're going to reassess. What stuff are you looking at?
So interestingly, I work with individual people, but I also do group exercise classes, one of which based out of a physiotherapy practice called Strength and Conditioning for Runners.
Okay.
And it is for those people who have no idea what they need to do strength-wise.
Because it can be intimidating going to an environment. And some stuff you can do at home as well, right? You don't need to go to the gym. But.
Yeah, and we'll definitely, I think, cover off some of that stuff as well, because that can be a barrier to access for a lot of people. But, within those classes, for example, I will work with them on 4 different sections. So we'll start with some big compound movements, so things like squats, deadlifts, anything that's going to use sort of posterior chain, things that are going to get you strong.
So posterior chain is something that I hear physios and strength coaches talking about. That's glutes, hamstrings, calves, right? It's the back of your lower body. Yeah. And upper body, I suppose, lower back as well.
Well, yes, as well, to some degree, for sure. And super important is the building blocks, really, for your strength. It's the big muscle groups working together to get strong, basically. We do single leg work.
Yeah. Rick talks about this a lot.
Yeah. So running, single leg sports, lots of single leg work, things like lunges, single leg deadlifts, single leg squats to a box, that sort of thing, which will help with your balance. It helps with your proprioception. It helps with ankle strength if you're trail running, for example. So many benefits to your single leg stuff.
Yeah.
We work on core. We'll always have a core section. That really helps with your posture, your running form, staying upright, especially when you start getting fatigued and things during long races.
See so many. So I challenge anyone listening to watch their local race. Doesn't matter how far it is actually, 5K, but certainly the longer it gets. Watch people coming in that last 100 meters, and they all look like they're sitting down.
Yes.
And that's because of all of these things. Posterior
absolutely.
chain combined with posture and core. Because you just get tired and you can't hold yourself upright properly anymore.
Use the puppet, Andy. You always tell me.
Yeah.
Puppet on a string, pull yourself up at the end.
And a strong core will really help you with that.
Do you know when you talk about core though?
Yep.
Is that doing planks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just doing planks, but doing planks will help.
I have
Lots of plank variations.
It's part of my routine. But it's much harder on a ball.
Yeah. Bosu ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it's a Bosu ball. It's a ball.
Yeah.
Squidgy ball. It's
I only
whatever.
worked out relatively recently what BOSU stands for.
Yes.
What does it stand for?
Both sides up.
Oh, right.
Because you can use it either way up.
Ah.
So it's those like half moon things with the like balloon underneath, or if you've got it the other way up, the balloon's on top.
Yeah, one side's hard and one side has half a Swiss ball underneath it.
Yeah.
Sorry, was that the 4? Because you said there was
I've
4
done
bits.
3.
There were 3.
Yeah,
right.
You
Yeah.
interrupted there, Rick.
Sorry.
It's okay. And then the 4th is plyometrics. So we have a bit of fun at the end of the session by so plyometrics, jumping, building power. It's not necessarily for everyone. If I'm training an individual client, I figure out whether plyometrics is something that they're going to need to use. So shorter distances, speed, that sort of thing.
And it's a bit more advanced, isn't it? Because it is a bit more explosive. So sometimes if people got such poor, and I'm talking in my own, about myself here actually. So I've been told by the physio before, like, oh, you can't even do that many calf raises, or oh, you can't do a single leg squat like that, or whatever. Then they're like, okay, well, let's put several weeks or months in before we try and do explosive hops or jumps or bounds or anything like that.
Exactly. But I mean, you can start really small with plyometrics. It doesn't even need to be jumping onto a box, for example. It can be hopping on one leg and skipping with a skipping rope, just anything that's going to sort of use that explosive power.
The single most impressive thing I used to see in the gym was when I trained with the sprinters. And if anyone watches, this is I'm trying to bring popular culture to the fore here. So a combination of gladiators and Strictly Come Dancing. So Harry Akins-Ariti, who is former 100-meter sprinter for GB, also Nitro in Gladiators now, and now in Strictly Come Dancing.
Phenomenal dancer.
In his first dance the other day, they put a box jump in at the end. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
So he had to leap up and he made it look so easy. But I was watching it and thankfully the kids were like, how did he do that? But he just like leapt probably, like a good 2 or 3 feet off the ground. But I've seen those guys who are really explosive because they have to explode out the blocks. They can do a standing box jump up to, it's a staggering height. I can't even measure it.
Yeah.
But sorry, that was a bit of an aside. But that's the extreme level of explosivity.
Yeah.
Explosiveness that you could have. But most endurance runners just need to be able to do it for 2 or 3 hours. That's the thing.
Yes.
If you're talking about a half marathon or longer if you're out there for the marathon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the stuff though, you can start it at home, so you don't have to build this into a gym. I mean, calf raises, they're my shower go-to.
In the shower?
Yeah. I kick off the
Do you
day
have a
with
shower
10
mat?
Well, I've got a bar in my shower. This sounds quite dodgy.
Has everyone now got a lovely visual
Of Rick in the shower.
of Rick in the shower?
I didn't until you said that. Thanks.
I do 10 calf raises on each leg in the shower in the morning. And actually, when I was coming back from surgeries, doing calf raises, lunges, squats, I was doing it all at home. I don't think I went to the gym actually for about 3 months.
I know, heaven forbid you'd make any effort.
Well, no, I literally physically, I was on crutches.
I know.
Like I couldn't physically go to the gym, and so much of this stuff all started at home, which does mean when you're on holiday or you're away, and if you do have a compromised physique like I do, you feel it after a couple of weeks. I talked about this in the summer, going on holiday to France and not having access to a gym and moving around. We were Euro camping, and I could feel when I got back that my legs had become weaker in such a short time, and that I needed to get back to the gym. Once I went back, and I bang on about this all the time, but I do pretty much apply the 50% rule of one S&C session to one run.
Yeah.
So I've got a question, Anna, and also I've got a visual now, not just of Rick in the shower, but of running channel listeners all around the country collapsed in the bottom of their very slippery bathtub, clinging to their shower curtain that they've grabbed for support. So please don't fall over in the bath.
No, mine's a walk-in. It's a bit safer.
I recommend more like when you're brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
when you're standing on dry land. That's a good one to do, calf raises, when you're brushing teeth.
So how should exercises feel though? Like, I think a lot of people start strength and conditioning and you get sore.
Yes.
Even if you're not doing any weight, if you'd never done squats and you did like 10 squats, like deep squats, I think you would be sore the next day. So
Yeah, absolutely.
what should people feel like and how long should it last?
Well, and I think obviously everybody is different, but like you say, if you are brand new to this and you are just coming in at the most basic of level, body weight, doing a session, usually it's the day after, so the second day, that you will start to feel muscle soreness. And it can be really off-putting, especially for runners, because
It makes you feel like you can't run properly.
I don't want to run now because I feel really achy. But actually, going out on those achy legs, you will be surprised at how quickly it does then disappear. You might feel stiff for the first sort of getting into your run and sort of really feel that session. But realistically, I mean, when you start doing, let's say 2 sessions, I would say 2 sessions a week is golden.
Sweet spot.
Yeah.
Let's go for that. Depending on obviously your other needs and things. By 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing those 2 sessions, you're going to start feeling that soreness less.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but then it will come back a little bit every time because you need to
increase your weights.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
but you want to try and see. Most people are motivated by improvement in some way.
Yes.
So whether that's doing more or like slightly heavier weights or whatever, and so you just expect. I like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
And I think if as a runner, where you do something, and then the muscles that you use for running, quads, calves, glutes, when they're like just a bit sore, I'm a bit like,
I get that.
I'm not strong enough. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually like a really tangible reminder.
It's a nice feeling
Yeah.
that you've worked.
Yeah.
Can I ask? So if you're getting bored of the routine, because there'll be a lot of people just thinking, well, that's great. It's golden to do 2 sessions a week. If I can do 1, maybe I'll do it all at home. But it's just boring. I'll do the same thing time and time again. How do you mix it up?
So I think there is a lot to be said for boring sessions. You don't need these strength sessions to be fancy. You don't need to be doing 13 to 15 different exercises for every single session, let's say. You don't need to do that. It is quite boring doing the exercises that are going to benefit you as a runner the most. But there are variations on a theme. So let's go for squats, for example. You can do a regular squat. You can hold a weight and do a goblet squat. You can turn your feet slightly outwards, take those feet slightly wider.
What's a goblet squat?
Sumo squat. You hold like a goblet of wine. Imagine you've got a goblet of
you were
Gavi.
speaking Rick's language.
Goblet of Gavi, straight down, straight up. Don't spill a drop.
Okay.
But hold the weight a bit
It's
heavier.
usually holding like a dumbbell. or an upside down kettlebell.
Right. Or a glass of Gavi.
Or a bit heavier than that, maybe.
A bit heavy. Yeah.
Bottle?
A vat of Gavi.
If you're starting with body weight, then
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, great. I see. So it's variations, basically, just little variations, or even of the same exercise.
Absolutely.
Right.
And they will work different muscle groups as well. So, for example, I was just saying about a sumo goblet squat. So that is where you take your feet out slightly wider, you turn your toes outwards, you then get lower down into that squat, you're then working the muscle on the inside of your legs as well as your glutes.
Adductors.
Yes. I don't know how scientific we're going.
Hey, well, people have come for the science occasionally, and then all they've been met with is this useless banter. So today we're
Bringing a bit of science is good. And what about timing? So how long should we be doing it for?
Can be as like how long is a piece of string?
sometimes I just do 20 minutes if that's all I've got.
It's fine.
Because I know 20 minutes is going to make me feel better than nothing.
If you've got 5 minutes
Yeah.
and you want to do a quick core circuit, stick 5-minute core circuit into your day. So my absolute favourite, easy go-to, is what's called an AMRAP. So it's as many rounds as possible. So this is no rest between your exercises.
Yeah.
Pick 3 bodyweight core exercises you can do at home. Something like dead bugs. You can do twists, so like Russian twists, with or without a weight.
So you can definitely look up some good videos of all of these exercises. Obviously, describing them on a podcast is very difficult.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of room on the floor for demos either.
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
And let's say, what's another one that you can count? Let's do like a plank shoulder tap.
Yeah.
So in a 4-arm plank. So do 10 of those in a row of those 3 exercises. And then when you finish those 3, start again. And you'd set a timer for 5 minutes and you just keep going for that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there you have a 5-minute core circuit that you've done that
For
you
as
didn't
long
do
as you
last
can.
week for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it's as many
But
rounds
you could
as
do
you can.
as many rounds of 5 minutes.
As many rounds
yeah,
of
yeah,
that
yeah,
5
yeah.
minutes. So as soon as that 5-minute timer's up, you're done. But then that is 5 minutes of core that you've done this week that you didn't do last week. And some, I would say, is better than none.
Yeah, I agree. And you can, that's then, if you've got your little go-tos that you can do like that don't require any equipment, you can do that on holiday. And you can, like doing 5 minutes a day, there'd be some arguments that that's better than one sporadic hour session every few weeks. So
you don't need to spend an hour in the gym to do this. Absolutely don't. And you know, there can be a time and a place for that, depending on what you're training for and what your training load looks like and for the rest of the week. But, you know, if my baby's gone down for a nap and I know that I've got half an hour to have something to eat and do a quick core session, and that's my 30 minutes for me for the day, just slot it in.
Yeah.
If your mechanics are not compromised and you don't have a specific area of concern, is it working on your core if you had to do one thing?
I've got an answer.
Go on then.
I would be saying what Anna said at the beginning, which is like almost those compound movements. I'd be trying to find the 1 or 2 compound movements that combine everything into one. So like, for example, if you did a walking lunge holding a medicine ball with a twist, that's doing like quite a lot in one go.
Because you're compounding lots of things together.
Yeah, because you've got a single leg movement, you've got core strength, you've got the posture to be upright, you've got ankle and knee and hip mobility, range of movement, and you've got the twist, which is core. So you've got glutes. So you've got quite a lot of stuff in one.
That was a great example.
Sorry, I had some stuff written down in advance.
Andy did some research.
You did, yeah. Amazing.
I want to very quickly mention why bother.
Yeah.
Like definitely injury prevention potentially. That's why me and Rick do it. Also, from everything that I've read, there's a lot of correlation between, you know, people talk about stretching, but almost this is the opposite. Being stronger will tighten everything up, which actually means your ground contact time and your reaction off the ground is likely to be shorter and better and more powerful. And all of those things lead to better running economy. So you can buy a pair of shoes that makes you maybe 2 to 4% more economical, but you might still get hurt. Whereas this will not only make your running economy better, i.e. you require less oxygen to move at the same speed, but it makes you more... I always used to joke I was trying to make myself bulletproof, both like mentally, competing with my competitors and all those other guys out there, and physically because I wanted to line up knowing I very rarely got to this point, but that was the aim, was to be bulletproof mentally and physically. Like there's so much stuff here that we could have unpicked it for hours. Yeah. We've got videos on the running channel already that are available on YouTube. You can search for them. We've got a bunch of articles on the website, and also there's a dedicated space in the running channel club where we talk all about strength and conditioning. People have got lots of questions. You can go into way more detail, and Anna's actually fairly regularly answering a lot of kind of questions as the expert.
She's in there all the time. You can't get her out.
And I also post you a workout Wednesday every Wednesday in there as well.
Yeah.
So, and that can be body weight or it can be with equipment, either or, mixing it up, bit of plyometrics, bit of core, whatever it is. So it's a bit of inspiration for you for some sessions.
Amazing.
On a slightly different note, how would you feel about going to the Olympics with your wife or your husband
With your wife?
or your partner?
My own wife or your wife?
Well, in this case, your own.
Okay, interesting. I don't know, actually. I think it'd be challenging. It's like learning to drive with a partner. It's a recipe for disaster.
I'll get to the point here, but it's a bit like people who listen or watch this podcast who maybe work in the same office together. The reason I'm talking about it is because if you were training with someone every single day, pacing them in races around the world, but then also aiming to become world champions at the same Olympic Games, I imagine it might be just a little bit tricky. Why am I talking about it? Because Andy caught up with German Olympian Hendrik Pfeiffer and half marathon and 10K champion Esther Pfeiffer, who are doing exactly that.
You've both taken on some incredible marathon challenges. Can you just, as a simple question, but could you each talk me through what a typical week looks like for you in terms of your training?
It is a very intense period in training before a marathon. Usually for me, I do 12 to 14 weeks direct marathon preparation. So I start with good shape and then I add 14 weeks towards a strong marathon. That's the best case scenario. And in these weeks, I usually break 200K
Wow. Yeah.
Usually yes, and it's like 12 to 13 sessions a week. Long ones after a high intensity session, because that trains your stamina in the late stage of a marathon, so you don't die after 30K.
My mileage is just 170, and
It's only 170 kilometers. I know a lot of people who will be listening from our audience. That's still an incredible amount. But yes, you've been focused on the half marathon. Is that right?
yes, and instead of 2 workouts and 2 long runs, I do 3 workouts and 1 long run.
I'm going to ask a question for Esther now, I guess. Like, you guys train and race together. I know that, Hendrik, you've paced Esther in races, I think.
Yes.
What are the good things and I guess the bad things about training and racing with your partner? Like, I'm sure that's exciting sometimes, but also, like, if you're spending all of that time with each other, it can be a challenge.
Yes, but I think it's really, really nice. Especially in 2 weeks, I run my Cologne half marathon, and Hendrik will be my pacer. That's perfect, but in the beginning of the race, it's sometimes difficult for him to find the right pace, because for him it's so easy.
When it gets hard in that last 10K of a long run, what do you do to kind of snap out of it, or to keep going? Like, do you have games that you play in your mind, or is it something that you say to yourself?
This is what I say to myself. I'm here for a reason, and you have to know why you do it. I think this is something you have to keep in mind at every session. There's no session I don't know why I'm here. Even the easy one. The easy one has a purpose as well. So this is something you have to know, and that makes it much easier to survive a marathon training, even in the 12th or 13th week.
Amazing. I know that you're both supported by Wahoo and their Kick a Run treadmill. How do you incorporate using the Wahoo Kick a Run treadmill into your training?
When we found out that there's a treadmill like the Kick a Run, we found what we needed, because now we can do everything we want on treadmill. Before, we could not do intervals shorter than 1K repeats because it took too long to adapt the pace. And now with the Kick a Run, it switches immediately from 230 pace per K to 410 pace per K, to what we do in our wakes. And this is quite amazing to have a tool like that. Of course, we don't do every session on the treadmill. You still have to run outside, and normal ones we do outside as well. But it usually works when we train on the treadmill. The dropout quote is very much lower than outside. We usually don't quit any workout on the treadmill. Outside, it sometimes happens. So this is also a big game changer.
Maybe just to finish off, I'll say, looking ahead for each of you, the key goals for the rest of this year. I appreciate that sounds like it's Valencia for you, Hendrik, and Cologne for you, Esther, and the marathon and the half marathon. But then looking ahead to 2026, what do you both want to achieve?
When I'm successful this year, I do Cologne half marathon, and 3 weeks later, Valencia half marathon. I will try my first marathon. That's very, very excited. This is my big goal, because I think I have to start next year when I would like to have a chance to qualify for the Olympic, because 2027 the qualification window starts. So I would like to do 1 or 2 marathons before.
And then marathon in LA 2028 in the Olympics.
Yes. Together.
This is our vision. If we really make it
perfect.
as a couple, as a family, in the same distance in the marathon event, this is like the big vision, the big goal, the ultimate goal we have. For sure, would be very nice for both of us.
Has anyone done that before? Has there ever been a husband and wife team at the marathon in the Olympics? Do you know? Would you guys be the first?
Hard to know. It's an interesting question. Maybe in Japan there's a very prominent couple, but I'm not sure if they both made it to the Olympics. But would be definitely very, very nice. And this is one of our key goals, long-term goals. And I'm still chasing the majors. And currently I did 5. So I'm lacking 2 at Sydney and Chicago.
We've got one final question, actually, for both of you. When you're getting ready for your runs, I'm assuming you both wear socks. Would you go, as you're putting your socks and shoes on, would you go sock, sock, shoe, shoe? Or would you go sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
I know it. For me, it's sock, shoe, sock, shoe.
Oh, and
for me,
Esther?
It's different. No, socks, socks, shoes, shoes.
See, Esther does it the right way. That's what I'm going to say. So we joke that anybody that goes sock, shoe is a psychopath. So sorry, Hendrik. I think you've just joined our list.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Thank you very much. That's a lovely thing to end on.
I love how they gave different answers to sock, sock, shoe, shoe. I mean, we've had some weird answers to this recently.
We have had some really Anna, you've got socks on today.
Yeah.
Did you go sock, sock, shoe, shoe? Or did you go sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
No, sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I put my socks on and then finish
Yeah.
getting ready, and then I put my shoes on by the front door.
Because you're not a
fine if you're
psychopath.
swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Hey,
you're getting-
there's plenty of people out there.
Exactly. It's fine if you're putting your shoes and socks on after you go swimming. It's fine. It's fine to do whatever. That's the only area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You think when there's moisture involved.
If there's moisture
or
involved,
dirt.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, dirt. I
Or the
I agree.
yeah,
back
like
of
on
a
a trail.
car, back
Yeah,
of a car,
like
in your
that,
boot
yeah.
of your car or your trunk of your car if it's in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you've got a Tesla, what's the front boot called? I don't know. Too
Bonnet?
complicated. Bonnet. There you go. So there are certain situations anyway where it's okay.
Have you lost your train of thought there a little
Yeah,
bit?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Who'd like to hear from Tom in Kansas City?
I would. Where's Kansas City, Rick?
Kansas City's in Missouri. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
You love this little fact, though,
I
don't you?
don't get it. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure Kansas City's in Kansas. You know,
I think
the
bits
state.
of it are, yeah.
A tiny bit
straddles.
of Kansas City is in Kansas,
Crazy.
but most of it's in Missouri. Well, Tom says, I found you guys during the pandemic and I've been a follower ever since. Shout out to Anna. She's my favorite presenter. It's almost like we set this question up when she was on the podcast.
Wow.
It also upsets me
Yeah.
a little bit, but because Tom is from Kansas City, I'm going to let him off. But favourite spelled just with an O.
Oh, I see
He's
what you mean.
American.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's how they spell it.
I
Yeah.
know. You know.
It's all right, Tom. I got your back.
Colour, favourite.
Yeah.
Anyways, my question is about muscle rubs or creams before a run. I've done this method on race days for a couple of years now and found that it helps with my performance on race day. The other day, I mentioned this to some other runners, which led to a spirited debate.
We like a
about
spirited debate.
if this is actual science or it's just in my head. I figured I would ask those in the know more than me. Thanks for taking my question. P.S. I love the mindless banter.
Well, yeah, that's good because you're not going to get much science, I wouldn't imagine here. 'Cause we were joking about.
You've
these
got a
questions.
bit of science for this time,
I have.
haven't you?
Well, yeah, I have. But what I was going to do here, because what always happens is we get a slightly tricky question, and then Rick and Sarah they don't even bother. They do not even try, and they just both Rick reads the question out, and they're both just their heads turn to the right, and Andy's got to answer it. This one, yeah. So we're talking about muscle rubs and creams before a run or a race, and potentially afterwards as well. I think that there's a few things at play. One thing is they could be a placebo, but even if they are a placebo, so if the warmth from a muscle rub helps you, then that has helped you. So there's loads of really good science that shows the placebo effect is a real meaningful effect. And
But it's
actually,
not a placebo then. If it's warmth, then it's doing something. It's
well,
heating
that's
the
the thing
muscle.
is whether you can. I guess that's ultimately the science is whether you can distinguish between the perceived benefit because they feel a bit warm, that's helping me, or whether that's actually doing anything meaningful with the muscles. So to my knowledge, there is some science that suggests that the heat promotes increased blood flow, which is generally better for recovery. So that could help afterwards. But also before a race, what you're trying to do is stimulate blood flow. And then there is also that perception of warmth. If I think about my memories of warming creams and gels and stuff like that, and the smell of it's really pungent. I'm thinking of like pre-cross-country changing rooms or minibuses. I'm thinking of football changing rooms and
Football
stuff.
changing rooms.
Yeah.
Stinking
Yeah.
of heat rub.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of that, it's getting colder right now. And so trying to get out there and feel warm and ready to go is part of the challenge. So if that's part of your warm-up routine and it makes things feel warmer and you feel more limber and ready to go, and it is potentially promoting better circulation, then that's a positive thing. A couple of other things I had in my notes. If you're rubbing cream into your muscles, there's an element of self-massage there, which in itself is therapeutic. So you've got that benefit too. So admittedly, that could just be moisturizer and you might get a similar benefit there. But if it's also warming at the same time, then you're shortcutting to feeling better and more ready to go. And then there is some evidence that there is actually genuine analgesic benefits. So like pain relieving.
There is what benefits?
Analgesic, pain relieving.
Okay, well, that's a new word for today.
So yeah, potentially reducing pain, could be improving circulation, because then that's going to allow better blood flow, better removal of any waste products, better warming up generally of the muscles. But this isn't a substitute for a warm-up. That's probably the biggest thing here. Like, whether you're going to do drills or a jog or a combination of both, those activations and warm-ups will be more effective than a rub on its own, and much more beneficial and much less likely to get hurt. But by all means, incorporate it into it, because it might help and it might reduce overall pain and give you that edge that you feel like you're ready to go.
Tom, I'm so pleased that we have delivered a clear answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did we? I think what I said is, if it makes you feel better, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Same with a whole bunch of stuff, ice baths.
Yeah.
Because I've got a tube of heat rub in that drawer that everyone's got in the house, which you're not quite sure what's in the drawer, but you have to force it because the tea towels are on the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got loads of half-used tubes of heat rub, which have been there for so long, but I've kept them for the day that I need them.
I would say they do have an expiry, so probably just check.
Do you know what?
That.
Today, not only has this been a great podcast and has, really drilled down on some S&C, but I'm going to get a nice clean drawer out of it as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm genuinely going to go and find out a bit more about it though. This has prompted me to dig a bit more into the science and the research. I want to find out. If people can point me in the right direction, email podcast@therunningchannel.com. I have used it on and off when I felt like I've needed a bit of extra kind of self-care to get ready for stuff.
And that's the other thing as well. It's like, it's that mindset thing as well. Yeah. It's like giving yourself a few minutes of like prepping yourself and getting in the mindset of feeling ready again is another sort of placebo effect in a way, in the sense that you're giving yourself time to feel ready and be ready.
Yeah, that routine.
And a lot of these creams and rubs as well can have like active ingredients that are potentially absorbed topically as well through skin. So things like magnesium. Our body absorbs magnesium much better topically through our skin than it does by ingesting it. So something for, let's say, post-run creams and rubs, if that's got magnesium in it, then potentially you're then going to absorb it better into your body for recovery. Yeah.
I nearly said we're going to have to start rubbing each other for the scientific cause.
I'm out. I'm a bit busy.
Okay. We've found Anna's limit.
Anna, thank you for coming in. Before you go though, tell us about Chicago.
I'm running the marathon.
In how many weeks now?
It's 13 days today.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling great. And pretty scared.
Have you done it before?
No, this will be my 5th of the 6 majors.
Tokyo will just be remaining after this.
Correct.
And then you're going to move on to Sydney and
I've got to go to Sydney
Cape Town.
and all.
Have you been to Chicago?
No. Very excited. We're going like beforehand, and Neil and Aoife are coming with me as well, so it's like a little family trip.
That'd be lovely.
And you're teaming up. Well, you're looking to raise some money as well.
Yes,
if you can, just doing your bit, which I think is really lovely. Just very quickly, for what cause?
Yeah, so I got my place in the ballot, which was unreal. So I thought, well, it would be a nice thing to do to raise some money for charity if I can, if anybody wants to donate. I'm going to be raising money for the Pandas Foundation, which actually supports mums and dads in pre and postnatal depression advice and support. It's a cause very close to my own heart, as something that I dealt with after having my baby. So it makes it super special.
Great cause.
It's going to be an emotional watch. It'll be an emotional experience for you, but obviously anyone on the Run channel can tune in for that experience, because we'll be putting it on YouTube, and we'll be sharing links to Anna's kind of donations page, which is with a company called GiveWheel, which has an amazing feature actually that means that anyone that wants to donate, it's guaranteed that 50% of the donation will go to your charity.
Yep.
But also, when you're donating, you can either choose to give your whole donation to Anna's charity, but if there's another charity that could be so totally separate, that's really close to your heart, clever. Then you can donate the rest of the donation to that same charity at the same time. So to your own charity at that time.
Yeah, and not only is she great for that reason, she also holds her own GoPro, which is magnificent in my eyes.
Yeah, Rick will refuse to do that.
Yeah, It's always a man for that type of stuff.
You need to do some more strength and conditioning training in the gym, doing some upper body, Rick.
Well,
Holding that GoPro.
I get Andy
and
to
core.
hold it, but his arm would flop after for the first kilometre. Thank you very much for listening, watching, wherever you are. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.